take a look at how to calculate probability, because if we're going to figure out how fair a game is or what our chances of winning are, we need to figure that out, the chance, the probability that we actually win the game or if we lose. I picked roulette first because it's pretty basic. You probably learned basic probability back in middle school, if not sooner. Things like flip a coin. What's the chance it comes up heads? Well, there's two things that can happen, so it's 1 and 2. Or you roll a dice. What's the chance a 2 shows up? Well, there's 6 sides and 2's one of them, so 1 and 6. That kind of probability. So it's pretty basic. Just to remind you, when you calculate probability, no matter how complicated it gets, and some of these get a little more involving, it always boils down to a ratio, a fraction. On top, it's the ways that your bet can happen, the thing you're trying to make happen. If it's a flipping a coin and you want it to be heads, then that can happen one way. Now on the bottom is everything that could possibly happen. Again, with a coin, there's 2 things that can happen. So 1 out of 2 chance. For a die, say again, I want to roll a 2. Well, 2, there's 1 2 on that cube, and there's 6 things that could happen. So 1 and 6 again. So on the roulette board, we've got 36 numbers, 1 through 36, and then we've got these 2 zeros over here. So and here's kind of where they get you. If I bet on even, all right, well, from 1 to 36, there are 18 even numbers. And in your mind, you're kind of thinking, all right, 18 out of 36, that's a 50-50 bet. And maybe you even kind of do consider the 2 green ones. Now, we know it's pretty unlikely that one of those is going to show up when we spin. It can happen, but it's not super likely. And a lot of times our brain kind of dismisses those, and that's what they're counting on, because you got a little bit less than a 50% chance that it's even or odd. And same thing with red and black, because of these green spaces, a little less than 50% chance. As far as fairness, a lot of people think that games are rigged. These games are basically very fair. Really, I can't think of a casino game that's not fair. A roulette wheel is a very expensive device, instrument, whatever you want to call it. It's some precision engineering to be fair, because they don't want you to stumble onto a weakness where the wheel lands on a certain number over and over. So what they really get you on is the math that most people aren't even going to take the time to figure out or understand. So they don't pay you enough. That's the gist. Everything we do is going to boil down to they don't pay you enough to play the game when you win. So just to talk about basic probability, it can be a fraction, decimal, or percent. Usually we're going to leave it as a fraction in here. It seems to work better for most things we do, but you're going to use a calculator anyway, so don't be afraid to use a percent or decimal if you'd rather go that route. It's fine with me. So just a couple simple bets to get you going, and then you can fill out the rest of these. I'm going to post the answers too. What you're going to find out about me pretty early is I'm going to give you answers to stuff. You won't learn anything if you just copy them. So you're kind of on your own to do the work first and then look up the answers later if you want to get something out of this. But I'm not going to try to hold anything back. I'm just going to put them out there for you so you can see how you're doing. I want you to know how you're doing right away. And if things aren't making sense and you're not getting the right answer, let me know. Let me help you. We're going to try to get back to you as quick as we can. Some things to get some real-time feedback with the course. So I'm putting that stuff out there so you can check yourself. Don't just copy your way through it. You'll never learn a thing. But check and see how you're doing. Let me know, and I'll do what I can to help you out. So let's say I want to bet on red. So I put my chips right here. All right, well, about half of them are red, but it's not quite a 50% chance that I win. So let's calculate what it actually is. Well, let's count them up. That's all we got to do. There are 18 reds if you want to take the time to count those. And how many things total can happen? Well, there's 36 numbers plus the 2 green ones, so there's 38 things that can happen. Now, I know a lot of y'all won't like fractions for this simple reason, and we need to reduce that. These are both even, so we can divide them both by 2. If you need more help with reducing, we can talk about that. Hopefully that's a familiar process where you can look it up pretty easily. So 9 out of 19, well, 19's prime, 9, they don't have any common factors, so I can't go any further. 9 out of 19 is the chance that red shows up. A little bit less than 50% if you make it a decimal. So in your mind, you're probably kind of thinking that's about a 50-50 bet. In reality, it's a little less than 50% chance, and that's where they're going to get you on this kind of game. Okay. Let's do one more example, and then I'm going to turn you loose. So here I've got bet on a block. When I say block, I just mean like first 12, second 12, third 12. So that's what I'm talking about when I say a block. So let's say I put my money right there. Well, if 1 through 12 shows up, and these numbers are kind of weird, they go up from the bottom up. So sometimes I look at that and I think there's only 10, but it does go to 12. Just be careful of that if you're using this board to count. So there's 12 numbers that could show up if I put my chip there and I win. And the easy part, once you know how many total things there are that can happen, that number just keeps on getting used. That saves you a lot of work. All right, reduce them down. Both of these can be divided by 2. Don't think it can be divided by 4, though. So it's 12 divided by 2 is 6. 38 divided by 2 is 19. Apologies, that kind of looks like a 7. Let me put a little bottom on it. There we go. That can't be reduced anymore. So there's a 6 out of 19 chance that I win if I bet on black. So fill in the rest of these on the chart and do it first before you check the answers. But definitely check your answers, see how you're doing. And if it's not making sense, let me know and I'll try to help you out. Maybe I can post a follow-up video.